Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we've got the EFL Championship Week 1 Roundup. Now, I must get something out of the way straight away. This is in the day of the game with Cardiff and Wrexham, so I'm going to be covering that later. So if it currently just goes like pitch black within the space of like halfway through this video, that's why, okay? But up until the Cardiff and Wrexham game, I'm recording it the day of Cardiff and Wrexham, if that makes sense. Don't know if that makes sense, but let's get into it. First game, Wolves and Blackburn, the early kickoff. The late kickoff on Friday night. Was really looking forward to this game, and boy did it not disappoint. I thought Wolves in the first half was very, very good. I think they showed a lot of promise in how Wolves are going to play this season. I think they performed very well, especially, after Blackburn sort of took control early in the game. And then once Wolves sort of settled into it, I thought they was playing really attractive football. There was a lot of inside passes and then layoffs and a lot of rotations that were occurring. I liked the fact Menetzi was getting forward at multiple opportunities. You saw rotations between the fullbacks, and it was really, really good. Fullbacks and midfielders, it was really good. There were players popping up pretty much everywhere that you just did not expect them to pop up there. Really, really attractive football for the first 20 minutes or so after they settled into the game up until half time. Obviously Menetzi scored here, and then after that they sort of dominated up until the 25th minute, where obviously Blackburn did end up getting the equaliser. I think naturally when a first half was like this, the momentum graph does show it. Wolves were the home side, so we expected them to have more possession anyway. I wasn't sure how they was going to play, because again, I've never seen their manager manage before. I didn't even know who he were or where he came from or anything like that. Now I do know, and now I've seen something. So now I genuinely put them third in the predictions, and I think they'll be in and around that mark, potentially second. But I'm unsure. In terms of Blackburn, though, I thought they was very, very good. I expected him to sit back. I were expecting him to get whitewashed, boys, if I'm totally honest with you. And that's no disrespect to Blackburn, but they was unlucky in a sense to come away with a point, because they defended so well. I did make a shorts on this game, so I'm not going to continue to. And I made a full video as well, so if you want to see what I said about the game, there is a video on the account, on the channel. So I'm not going to go into too much depth about this, but I thought Alibiosu was really good. I think, within the first few minutes, I thought he were a donkey, to be honest. Just when he was running with the ball, he just looked like a donkey. But he was actually really good once he settled into the game. They played really well, Blackburn, defensively as well. So, yeah, I don't think there can be many complaints. I think the only complaint is the penalty, because in my opinion, I think it was so unlucky. It was so unlucky to get a penalty given for that. But it is what it is. It probably, it depends it depends. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into it. Again, if you want to see the video on Wolves and Blackburn, it's up on the channel. And then we're going to go on to one of the first early kickoffs, and it's Bolton and Preston. I kept switching to this game because, again, my red button weren't working. So I did keep switching to this game. Bolton Wanderers and Preston. This was like one of the only ones that was actually working, which really pissed me off. But anyway, swiftly moving on. I thought Preston, I thought it was poor, especially first half. And the stats back that up. Let me see if I can get them going here. The stats definitely back that up. I think I do like Steven Schumacher as well at Bolton. I think they obviously, if you look at the stats, to not have a shot on target in the first half, Preston as an established championship side is poor. You expect a team like Bolton, when they are at home, to dominate the game. You do expect that, and I think Preston for a large majority of the first half was surviving, which again, as I said, you'd expect. But I do like Paul Leckingbottom, and I think he is a very good championship manager. I know there's a few rumblings in the Preston fan base to do with Paul Leckingbottom, but I like him, and I think he will. I don't think you'll be in danger this season. I've had a few people say that you're going to go down. I don't think you will. I think you'll probably be around where you pretty much always are, to be fair, in mid-table. No offence, but I think you'd totally agree with me, Preston fans. But yeah, second half was much better, and I did actually catch the second half. And when I turned it on to the second half, you know, I think didn't both Bolton's goals come in the first half? Am I right? Yeah, they did. So both Bolton goals came in the first half. Then I actually tuned in the second half, and all I saw was Preston pretty much dominate the game. They got the ball forward, and they missed so many opportunities that you just expect them to score. They missed so many opportunities. They were Osmajic who got played through. It were 2v1 really, and he tried to square it, and he kicked it out of play. It were a terrible square. I think that just shows it's a player that's lacking in confidence. I think if that were Militant as my age last year, I think he'd have buried that 9 times out of 10. I think he's lacking in confidence, and that's why he tried to square it. Didn't go particularly well for him. But it were a good goal from Arabi. So I think that, and then I think they had another chance, didn't they, just before full time. Let's take a look. Can we see it actually on the commentary section? Let's see, because there was a chance just before full time. Let's take a look. Yeah, well, Liam Lindsay had a huge chance. It was a header at the back post, weren't it? And he's headed it over the bar. And I have no clue how the bloke missed that, because that is the biggest that's the easiest goal you'll ever score, in my opinion. Genuinely, he was free. But yeah, Bolton, I'm sure you'll be very happy to get the win in what would be classed as a local derby, I suppose. A full house at the Tough Sheet as well. It's nice to see. So yeah, I'm really happy for Bolton in terms of getting that win, because I think it's important for the promoted sides to start on the front foot, because it can be quite difficult to play catch up later on in the season. Next on to the game, Bristol City versus Millwall. Wow. Okay, Adam Randall definitely didn't help Bristol City getting sent off in the 36th minute. This was Michael Scabala's first game in charge, and the first time at Ashton Gate in a competitive game as well, championship game. Sorry. So I was expecting, Bristol City to come out of the blocks. I think it were a typical Alex Neil performance from Millwall. Josh Coburn doing what Josh Coburn does the best, is hold the ball up and go ahead and score goals. But yeah, this could have been way more. I think, like I said earlier, after the red card, they just didn't have a sniff, Bristol City, and I think that's just the bottom line. Millwall started off the game obviously the better side. Then Bristol City came back into it. It's a typical thing you see with momentum swings. Bristol City come back into it. They're the home side. You'd expect them to. Then it was just sort of up and down, up until Adam Randall's red card, which I actually haven't seen, so I don't know what it was like. But then obviously Millwall take control of the game there, and then Josh Coburn scores in the 41st minute, and then scores in the 50th as well. And then once it gets to that point, Millwall are just in cruise control, and by looking at the stats, they probably should have scored more. There's not really much more to say about that. I think Bristol City fans, I wouldn't panic, and I don't think you are panicking. Same with anybody in this video that has lost a game so far, or put in a poor performance. Don't stress about it, alright? These early games, anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. So don't stress about it, essentially. Yeah, I think Bristol City will be fine. I think I had Millwall in the playoffs anyway, probably towards the 4th position in my opinion. I really like Alex Neil. I really like the squad that they've built there. On to Charlton Athletic versus Derby. This was a result that surprised me personally. I really like both clubs. I do. A lot of people are a bit mixed on Nathan Jones, but I like him as a manager, potentially not as a person, but I'm not going to say that. Because I don't know the bloke, but it's just like whenever a camera's on him, he just turns into a prat. But yeah, I like him as a gaffer. I really like him as a manager. I think he's a great manager, and that's why I've had Charlton to stay up this season, because if you're going into a relegation scrap, you want Nathan Jones as your manager, because he is a brilliant manager at getting teams out of trouble. I think this is perfect start in terms of what Charlton wanted. Obviously, Samuel this season for Derby. But, I think at first I was wondering if that was potentially a good signing. It's obviously, I think he's settled now, and he scored 2 in 2. So I think that's a really good sign. The goal midweek he scored was an absolute banger, and this were a good finish as well by Sammy Schmodix, to be fair. Good link-up play with Carlton Morris, and it's a great finish into the bottom left corner. I think he'll end up being a great signing for for Derby County in the long run. Definitely, I think he'll probably get double figures because he is a good Championship striker. They brought in Alex Mowat as well, which I really like. He's not the type of player to run here, there and everywhere, but he can control games. He's a very, very good midfielder for this division. I like Alex Mowat. Mileni Charlie, I do want to talk on this signing because for me, personally, I think this was a very strange one for Charlton. I can understand it because he is fast. He's fast, and they've obviously got Tyrese Campbell on the wing as well. My nose is really itching me again. It's whenever I record these videos, my nose itches. They brought in Grant as well, so they've got cover basically. Matty Godden up top as well. So they have got cover, and they've got Miles Leaburn as well that came on as well. So yeah, putting the balls into the box for Miles Leaburn or Matty Godden probably is the way that they're going to play this season. Charles, to say about that, I think Derby will be disappointed they didn't get at least a point from this game. Again, they did have chances, and I think that's the bottom line. I'm not a massive fan of Charlie Taylor playing on the left. I think he did well as a centre-half when he played last season, but as on the left, I'm not 100% sure on him. I think his legs have started to go, so I think he's probably better as a centre-half than he is out wide. But, yeah, who am I? I'm not a manager. On to Middlesbrough and Lincoln. Now, this was one of the other games I was watching because I couldn't watch Wednesday for half the game because the bread button won't work. So I was watching Middlesbrough and Lincoln, which I wasn't ashamed about because I do like watching Middlesbrough. It was an absolute abomination. It was a demolition job from Middlesbrough. It should have been about 4 or 5, to be fair, if they could put the ball in the back of the net. I thought Lincoln started the game the better side. They started really well, settled in really well, and were like, hang on a minute here, Lincoln are fucking good. I was like, Lincoln are playing really, really well. They got the goal through Adam Reach, really good finish. We've seen that plenty of times before. I saw that a lot in the Championship when we had him at Chef Wednesday. He scored them goals all the time. Long range efforts as well. My nose, fuck's sake. But yeah, Borough grew into the game. Lincoln was sat with like 12 men behind the ball. They had like every man and the ref behind the ball, honestly. And to be fair to him, for a long period of the game, it worked. Like it worked. I'm telling you now, the Riverside will be a fortress this season. It'll be very, very difficult to go here and get a result. But Lincoln very nearly did it on match day 1. Very nearly. They lost the best. They lost probably the best player in Jack Moylan. They lost the coach in Michael Scabala. They brought in obviously Chris Cohen and Tom Shaw, which I'm not going to speak my opinions on that. I think Lincoln fans, I've had a conversation with Lincoln fans on TikTok about it, and they taught me more about that because I wasn't sure. I thought it were a bad decision, but then they've informed me that actually there was apparently the clockwork and the cogs behind Michael Scabala's success, which I suppose we'll see this season. But I think for Lincoln fans, they can be proud of the defensive performance they put in. Sure, they'd have liked to have had a go, but I think when you go to the Riverside and try and play football against Middlesbrough, and you start opening up, you will get cut apart. And now Middlesbrough's got Will Lancashire in there, who obviously got a double on his on his full league debut for Middlesbrough. I think they are going to put chances into the back of net. He could have scored another one. It probably should have done. The ball got put across the box, and I don't know how it didn't go in, to be honest. I thought Sebastian Beholter played well as well. He put multiple balls, good balls into the box, and he just kept getting headed away by the Lincoln defence. But I'm really excited to see Middlesbrough this season. I think it was a typical Kim Hellberg performance. First half was poor, second half they turned on the gas and they was very, very good. I really liked it. Next up, Norwich versus West Brom. Two sides that I think will be in and around the playoff picture this season. West Brom, I really like the look of. I really do. Their business this window has been brilliant. Jimmy J Morgan got brought in. I think he's absolutely top. The bloke has played like 900 positions across the front line, and he's been class in every single one of them. Not just for West Brom, but for Peterborough as well. Really, really like Jimmy J Morgan. I think that could be one of the signings of the window, to be fair. Got his goal in this game. Norwich under Philip Clement, I think the stats speak for themselves. They obviously went on like a crazy unbeaten run last year, nearly got into the playoffs. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. I'm just going to stop the recording quickly and then start when he's stopped. Went on a crazy unbeaten run last season, nearly made it into the playoffs. They was very, very good under Philip Clement. Norwich City, I really like them. They've brought in some good players as well. They've got a nice team. They've got a great team, in my opinion. And I think they'll finish in the playoffs as well. West Brom will be there or thereabouts. I really, really like this Hornmeyer that they've got in midfield. I think they've signed him as well. They've had a look at the Danish market because obviously they brought in Hegebo as well, didn't they? I think that was the other season. So they've obviously seen the success of that and thought, actually, we'll bring in another Norwegian player. But yeah, they was really good. I like Isaac Price as well. I think he's a very, very good player. Max O'Leary in goal clearly kept West Brom in the game. Really like him. Great goalkeeper. Did really well at Bristol City. I think he's probably one of the best goalkeepers in the Championship on his day. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see both teams in action this season. I mean, I saw West Brom the last game of the season last year, where Wednesday won our first home game of the season, and they was poor, but I think it's because they was on the beach. They were on the beach. So I think it'll be really interesting from my point of view to watch James Morrison and watch West Brom this season, and see the way that he manages and see his tactical ability. It's going to be really interesting. Obviously, they be a side in Norwich that have spent some good money this year. I like Torre up top. They've got Ben Slimani that's all right, and I really like the signing of Andrea Brooks. I can say that now because he's not playing for Sheffield United anymore. I like the signing of that. It's a lot of money, but I think he will repay you with some exciting moments. Cordoba in centre back, like him a lot. You've got a great side, Norwich, and I wouldn't be too concerned about this loss because I think you both will be there or thereabouts this season. Moving on to the next game, Portsmouth versus QPR. Again, two sides with, in my opinion, two very, very good managers. I like John Messina. I think one more year at this level, and if Portsmouth are in and around the relegation battle again, I think John Messina will be poached. My concern for Portsmouth is maybe he's poached in January, maybe. Let's say if a bigger club, no offence to Portsmouth because they are a big club, but let's say like a club that's trying to get playoffs, have lost the manager or something like that, and they want to bring in another proven manager. I'd say John Messina is probably quite high up on that list. I like John Messina, really good manager. I feel like I just say that for every manager at this point, but I do like the majority of the managers in the Championship right now are brilliant. I really enjoy watching most of the teams, to be fair. There's only a few that I'm a bit unsure on. But just take a look at the Portsmouth team quickly. Ibu Adams came in from Derby, has done very well since. Is that Abu Kamara playing on the wing? It is Abu Kamara. I don't know how he's been getting on for them, but this I can't pronounce his name. Segacic, I really like him as well. I think he's an exciting one. But it looks to me as though Portsmouth played pretty well. I didn't watch the game, so I can't really sit here and say that they did play well. But it looks like they went toe-to-toe with QPR and just came up short. But Elias Chair with 2 goals and also Koki Saito as well. But I just want to touch on QPR quickly, and I want to touch on this beautiful man right here, Piers Charles. God, I'm going to miss him at Wednesday this season. He's unbelievable, isn't he? He's unbelievable, and I know what QPR fans think of him already. He's fucking class. He's so brilliant. You telling me Ronnie Edwards played in midfield? Holy shit. Surely that's not right. But yeah, I think QPR could be outsiders for the playoffs this season. I don't think they'll get it. I think they'll probably finish about 10th. But I like the squad is brilliant. Kwame Poku, I like how Harvey Vale, I think, is class. Koki Saito, I think, at times is really, really exciting too. Works really hard. So I think they've got a decent squad, QPR, especially with bringing in Piers Charles as well. Really like that business. So potentially you could see them around the playoff places this year. Next up, Stoke versus Swansea. I'm going to just skip through this. Vitor Matos obviously was rather quite excited at the end of the game. I've seen his fist pumps. He was jumping around like a bunny on steroids, on fucking hallucinogens, I'm telling you. He went mental, didn't he? And fair play to him, because he pulled off a very, very nice win away at the Bet365. Don't know if it's called the Bet365 anymore. It is. But they pulled off a good win away there. And I think, I was unsure when Vitor Matos got brought into Swansea last season, but I'm really starting to like him. I am. His football's really nice. I like it a lot. They've obviously sold Ethan Galbraith to Stoke, which is interesting. And Stoke have spent a lot of money this transfer window, and I'm unsure if it's the right amount of money that they've spent. I don't know what the lineups was looking like, so I'm going to take a quick look. Svante Ingolson, I hope he wasn't playing in the six. Because the bloke, despite him being a workhorse, I never saw him play in the six once, to be honest. So I'm hoping that didn't happen. I'm hoping it was Ethan Galbraith that was in that position instead, and that allowed Ingolson to go forward. But they've got one of the best wingers in the Championship in Sober Thomas. They've signed some decent players. They've obviously brought in Galbraith for a lot of money. They've got a Victor Johansson back, which is a boost for Mark Robins' side. But yeah, it was just Swansea that came out on top, and I can see exactly why as well. I like Zambi Potnik. I don't know if he's going to be leaving at the end of the window. They've brought in Ross Stewart as well, which is that's a fucking mental signing, that. Ross Stewart, Adam Eder and Zambi Potnik up top is incredible. That is incredible. So again, could be outsiders for the playoffs. I hadn't actually done my predictions, so if you want to see the Championship predictions, let me know. I've been focusing on like the League One content really, because Wednesday's been playing, but I can do the Championship predictions as well. Again, not going to speak much on this except from Sheffield United are shit. Birmingham are also incredibly shit. Birmingham should have won the game, but they are also still shit. Now, it's nothing against Birmingham as a club, because I really like the club. I like Tom Wagner and the people that are owning it. They're doing really good things there, and I think in a few more years and they could be in the Premier League. But what I don't like about Birmingham is Chris fucking Davies, and I don't understand why they've kept him again. Okay, and I can see him being sacked this season, and this is almost where that John Mousinho thing comes in. I genuinely believe that John Mousinho will get more of a tune out of this Birmingham City squad than Chris Davies would. I genuinely do. Chris Davies, for me, yes, he got ridiculous amounts of points in League One with Birmingham City, but they also, you expect that, okay? And it goes on his CV, fair play to him. I think they played nice football in League One, but last season, when I watched Birmingham, they were so slow in build-up, so slow getting the ball between the lines. They was really lethargic, and I just didn't enjoy watching them whatsoever. Didn't enjoy it. And this game, I'm glad I didn't watch it. I don't watch Sheffield United games because it's Sheffield United, but it seems pretty boring. So I think for Birmingham to really push on, they need to sack Chris Davies. I think Sheffield United as well. I'm going to try and give an unbiased opinion on them. I think there's been a lot of scapegoating on this man here, Mark McGuinness. A lot of them has been calling him shit, but he actually had a really good game here, and he played well against Mansfield as well. I think he got caught out one or two times, I've heard a few of them say. One player I do want to point out, and it has to go down as one of the worst signings in Sheffield United history, is 10 million Tom up top. He's fucking shit. Alright, I'm actually convinced I'm never going to put on a Sheffield United shirt, but I'm convinced I could do more than £10 million Tom up top, alright? I could. They brought on Ryan Wan as well, I think his name is, and I think he did more in 13 minutes than Tom Cannon and Patrick Bamford did in 77 and 60 minutes respectively. I think, to be honest, if I was Chris Wilder, I'm not a manager, and I don't want to be helping Sheffield United in any way, shape or form. If I was Chris Wilder, I'd be starting Ryan Wan up front, because he's got a lot to prove to Sheffield United fans. I think he's better than 10 million Tom. I think he's better than Patrick Bamford. Just my opinion. But yeah, no, that's shit, no. He's not better than Patrick Bamford yet, but he's younger, and I think them two up top could cause some problems. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, on to the Sunday games. Watford 2, Southampton 1. This is the first of the games I watched. Unbelievable from Watford, to be honest. Especially first half, I thought they was very fucking good. I think that winger looked really good. What's his name? Is it Azabad or someone like that? Let's take a look. Maybe I've got that wrong. No, Nabizada. That's him, Nabizada. I think he looked really good. Really exciting. How old is he, by the way? Let's just take a look, because I know he's a teenager. 19, Afghani. Really, really good performance from him. Ika Bravo played really well. I thought Ravaglia were at times a bit shaky, especially when the ball was coming into the box. I thought it was shaky. Southampton second half turned it on, as you'd expect. I think we saw the level of management from Tonderecker in that second half. I think despite Southampton losing the game, I think Tonderecker came out and just threw everything at it, really. They controlled the game in the second half. Watford sort of shut up shop and tried to hit them on the transitions, but I were really impressed second half with Southampton. I thought, they had a lot to do, considering, they were 2-0 down at half-time, and that was a really poor first half from a Southampton point of view. But second half, I thought they were significantly better. They grew into the game, and then from the 60th minute onwards, they absolutely dominated. I was surprised they didn't actually end up equalising. They had a huge chance here with Taylor Harwood-Bellis with pretty much the last kick of the game. He needs to score that. He just does. And then there was that clip of Hector Cipriano as well, who were laughing in his face, which I would not be happy with if I were a Southampton fan. But, what goes around comes around and all that. But, yeah, whatever I say, I think Southampton probably will be disappointed they didn't come away with at least a point from that game, because they had more than enough ample opportunities, especially that one with Taylor Harwood-Bellis. I think Southampton again now, though, despite with them finishing on -4, they are now 7 points off the top of the league already, which is not a good start at all. I think when you start on -4, you have to win. You have to win your first game, because then that puts you straight onto -1. And although you're 1 point pretty much off of the teams that had already started losing, I just think that you need to win that first game just to get into that momentum, keep grinding out results. And it's just a positive mindset to be in. I think the fact that they've lost that game definitely is a kick in the balls for them. Now we're on to the late kick-off. It's Burnley 2, West Ham United 2. Now, I thought that for the first half, West Ham was brilliant. I thought it was really, really good. Burnley, I thought Brune Larson. Is it Brune Larson? Who is it? The winger. Is it Brune Larson? Or is it? Yeah, Brune Larson, the winger. I thought he was very dangerous. I think it was this literally straight away. Runs down the wing, lays it back, and they have a strike. And it very nearly went in, to be fair. I thought Burnley, grew into the game into the second half. I thought they was unlucky to go 2-0 down, to be fair. Really unlucky. I thought the first, obviously they took control West Ham here from this point on, and it were a good goal that they scored. Good corner, good header, but you can't really leave him unmarked in the 6-yard box. That was poor defending from a set piece, especially against a team that are pretty tall. But Burnley, as I said, they grew into the game, and I think we saw what Nicky Hayen, their manager, we saw what he was trying to do, and I think they played really nice football. I still think these teams will be there or thereabouts this season. Manor Solomon, obviously, I'm not going to speak too much on him, but he did score a good goal, and unfortunately, he is one of the better players in the Championship, but it's a good signing for West Ham. But less spoken about him, the better. Moving on to Zian Fleming getting the goal and then obviously scoring again. I think he's probably up there with the best players in the Championship as well. Obviously the former Millwall player scoring against West Ham. It was just written in the stars to happen, weren't it? It just was. But yeah, like I said, I think both teams will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. So if I were a West Ham fan, or I wouldn't be too concerned about it, because I think Burnley is a hard place to go, regardless of if they've got a new manager or not. But again, you'd be a bit aggrieved to say that like you were 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and then you concede twice. Not ideal, but also, is it going to cost you come the end of the season? Me personally, I don't think it will. So yeah, that is the end of these games. So you will see me later tonight for a catch-up for the Cardiff and Wrexham game. I'll see you in a bit. Right boys, we're now at the Cardiff City and Wrexham part of the video. There's no face cam because it's like 10 o'clock at night and I can't be asked to set the light up, so there's no face cam, and I do apologise about that. But yeah, it's finished Cardiff City 1, Wrexham 1. I think both teams can take a lot out of this game, a lot of positives as well. I think both teams could play relatively well in the way that they both set up. So we're just going to take a look at this in the first half stats. You know, I think for the first 20 minutes or so, Wrexham really settled into the game. They got that really early goal with Kiefer Moore. It was a great finish though, like a genuinely ridiculous finish from a tight angle really. But yeah, they took control of the game from the off really, because they scored straight away. Never really let Cardiff settle into the game until like 20 minutes in. For some reason the momentum map's not popping up, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, regardless, okay, Wrexham took control of the game early on. Cardiff then took back control after about 20 minutes or so, held on to the ball really well, and now it's just popped up now. Let me show you. So yeah, obviously the Kiefer Moore early goal here, good finish, then a little blip, then Wrexham again, and then at this point here is when Barry Murphy made a few changes. I was really impressed with Jack Moylan today. I think, you know, Cardiff fans will be seeing a lot more good things from Jack Moylan. I think he's a brilliant player, and I think it's an unbelievable signing for Cardiff. A big loss for Lincoln. I was impressed with Gabe Osho as well. I was very impressed with him, apart from obviously the mistake where he didn't come out, push out quick enough for the Kiefer Moore goal. I was really impressed with him. Thought he had a great performance. As well, Joel Bagan as well, filling in at centre back. I know Cardiff's had a few injuries in terms of the players like Will Fish and Lawler and players like that. So I thought Bagan had a decent game at centre back as well. Yeah, I think, you know, Cardiff controlled the majority of the game, controlled the possession, but they did. The thing is, right, they didn't create anything, and that was the biggest disappointment for me, because I saw Cardiff on many occasions last year, and they blew teams away with the amount of chances they created. Yeah, they played possession football, but they created so many chances as well. They didn't really create that many today, apart from obviously the Ruben Colwill goal, and then there were a few where Yusuf Salek as well. I think it weren't his best day at the office. I think he had an opportunity when he got slipped in. I think it were by Jack Moylan, and he just tried to take it past the defender, but he just poked it towards Anthony Patterson. So, you know, in terms of a Cardiff City point of view, I think you'll take the point there. If you're Wrexham, you will be furious because you have held on for pretty much 95 minutes at 1-0 and actually put in a very good defensive performance, and also hit Cardiff on transitions multiple times, and just failed to take your chances. So I think Cardiff will be I think Cardiff will be the happiest team of the two to come away with a point there. Wrexham probably, at the minute, it'll be feeling a bit sore, but I'm really impressed with Danny Imre on his championship debut as well with Wrexham. Really impressed with him. I liked him at West Brom last season. Really good player. Was really exciting for Wrexham, especially in that first half. He also had an opportunity where he got in behind a few times as well. So I think he looks really good, and I think that could be a really good signing for Wrexham. Callum Doyle again continues to impress. No surprise there. Ridiculous with the ball at his feet. Ridiculous going forward. He's a great player, honestly. And I think both of these teams will be more than fine this season. I think Wrexham will be pushing the playoff spots again. Cardiff, I think they'll easily stay up. I rate Barry Murphy, to be honest, and I think that despite him not creating many things today, I think, you know, like I said, they'd be really happy with the goal at the end with Ruben Colwill. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to see more championship content, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you're happy with the way that your team performed. Let me know if you think I got anything wrong in terms of anything I said today. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you later. Bye bye.